Cool. So the topic of this today's discussion is generative AI landscape. So it's more about understanding what's possible in generative AI and what generative AI actually is, and what can builders do in that space. Do you really have to know the AI technology behind, or can you work on API layer or some other abstraction layer? We are going to see all of that, and I'm also going to give you some sample ideas of how you can combine several generative AI technologies and build apps or side projects on top of them. And as Prashant introduced, my name is Ramsri. I'm currently based out of Hyderabad, India, and I'm currently building 3 AI SaaS apps. All of them are in the generative AI space. Question.ai, which is to generate quizzes. So MCQs, true or false, all these high school quizzes from any text. That's question.ai and a tech SaaS. Then we have supermeme.ai. Of course, memes, everyone would know them. But if you want a creative assistant where you can just type in a sentence or tweet and generate a meme with meme text and correct meme template automatically. That's what supermeme.ai is. And supertranslate.ai, essentially, if you have any video that you want to subtitle in one click, can you subtitle even Hindi, Spanish, other language videos into English in one click? That's what supertranslate.ai is. And besides these 3 SaaS apps, I teach courses. I have few courses on Udemy, and I host courses on my own website, learnnlp.academy. Mostly the courses are focused on natural language processing. It's a subfield of artificial intelligence that deals with text and speech in particular. And the third thing that I do is AI consulting once in a while, on and off. So you can kind of think of me like a creator who kind of does these 3 things: AI SaaS, courses, and consulting. And my wife has a hard time explaining what I do. In the end, she narrowed down to one thing, that he somehow gets money and survives. Of course, she does full-time job. So, and all of my wife's sides and my dad, everyone is they are teachers, so they kind of do not understand what this non-salaried lifestyle is, but I've been loving it and enjoying it. But nevertheless, let's get started. And if you want to find my socials, you can find them at ramsri.ai, Twitter, LinkedIn, Medium, YouTube, everything. Awesome. So what exactly is generative AI? Simply put, in one line, it's a VC, venture capital coined term recently, but short thing is an umbrella term for any AI algorithm that is used to create new content in any of the modalities. When I mean modalities, you have text, speech, images. Then of course, when you come to text, again, you further have general English or any other language text plus code. So generative AI can generate text as well as code, programming languages code like Java, Python, C++, whatever it is. And when it comes to speech, generative AI can again generate speech with emotions as good as humans, and also generate music. For example, even background music or any pleasant music that you hear, rap songs, even to some extent. So generative AI is not one algorithm. It's rather a set of evolutionary algorithms, probably sometimes different algorithm for text, different for speech, different for image generation, etc. And this combined, the umbrella term for all these algorithms that are used to create new form of interactions, it could be text, speech, etc., is generative AI. And one of the main things with generative AI is generative AI existed even 5-6 years back or even 10 years back. But why are we all focused on it and why are we on top of it is Now it is becoming indistinguishable from humans. Previously, if a text was generated from, let's say, some AI algorithms, you would know that, okay, it looks some kind of, you might be aware of robotic voices, right? Whenever you hear them 5, 6 years back, you would know, okay, this is a, text generated, text to speech model, and it sounds robotic. But now I would say the pro as well as the con is that it is almost exceeding humans in some extent, and it is indistinguishable from what humans can generate, either it is speech or text or even images. Yeah, coming to images, again, generating images, videos, GIFs, anything that has to do with visual medium. That's what generative AI is. And if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand or interrupt and ask as we go along. Yeah, awesome. So first of all, who are the players in this space? Like the big companies like Google, Microsoft, all these companies have been doing generative AI stuff for quite some time. Of course, all these text-to-speech algorithms, text translation algorithms were always available. But something major happened in the last 3, 4 years. That is, companies like OpenAI, which started as non-profit and now it is capped profit. But anyways, they anticipated that AI will become big and huge in the coming years. So they had dedicated research labs to do AI research that almost mimics humans. The long-term vision, or what human level capability is called as AGI, artificial general intelligence, which is an AI that has intelligence as good as humans in multiple tasks, but we are far from that. So companies like OpenAI have took the approach to do narrow AI in text generation, etc., and they have made several breakthroughs, because of which we are talking about generative AI today. And OpenAI is one big company that you need to remember, which has pushed boundaries in the generative AI space, whether it is speech, images, text, etc. Then again, you have similar companies like OpenAI. Cohere is one, A121 Labs is one, and you have Anthropic. Then there is Hugging Face, which is a company, which is an open source company that puts together several AI advancements as a library that you can easily use and integrate. And apart from that, they do their own dedicated research as well. When it comes to OpenAI, Cohere, A121 Labs, all these are closed companies, which are private companies, and the code and other things are not usually released by them, whereas Hugging Face is an open source company. So in the generative text space, we all talk about GPT-3 and Chat GPT as of today, which became viral. But the short answer is OpenAI started that revolution with GPT-2 and then GPT-3, and now we have Chat GPT, which essentially can generate text from instructions as good as humans. And on the speech side, we have, again, OpenAI released world's most accurate speech to text model called as OpenAI's Whisper, that got released almost 4, 5 months back. So if you have used any speech to text model to convert your audio, etc., with Google Cloud or Amazon previously, this beats those accuracies by a large margin, and it's open source. And we have built Super Translate on top of OpenAI's Whisper, and we have built on GPT-3 question.ai, as well as supermeme.ai on little bit of OpenAI's DALL-E and other image generation. So we are using across the 3 apps that I have, we are using all the modalities that we have here. And when it comes to speech, there are other companies which do text-to-speech synthesis, almost as good as humans, with intonation, emotion, angry, happy, all these things. I think the notable players are Murph.ai as well as 11labs.ai. This is actually ELEVN 11labs.io. You can check them out. Very new and very interesting, almost state-of-the-art text-to-speech algorithms. And when it comes to images and video, again, we have, Mid-Journey, Stable Diffusion, OpenAI's DALI. You might have seen viral images that almost are surreal, generated by human artists, even better than them sometimes. So those are generated by different companies. OpenAI has an image generator called as DALI. Then Stable Diffusion is an open source model anyone can host and bring it up. Then Mid-Journey is one another. Then you might have also seen these people who are talking the speech that you give. So AI avatars. So companies like Synthesia.io and Rephrase.ai, they are doing this generative AI in the video space. Anyway, so that's about generative AI in short. I wanted to give a quick introduction on how you can build products with these. So essentially, how do you build products with generative AI? The main thing is combining multiple modalities and operating in a vertical. What do I mean by that? Combine speech with text or combine text with image. And then when I mean operate in a vertical, build something either in a domain, for example, edtech or healthcare or in the creator space. Choose one such space where you're comfortable in identifying the problems, as well as you can map the generative AI technology to the problem space, operate in that. And that's one of the good ways to go ahead and build generative AI products, in the sense that you don't need to reinvent anything from scratch. Rather, take these technologies that are available already, put together in some sequence to solve towards solving a problem or towards a common goal that you're working. So for example, you can look at this. Recently, I've made a tweet on at the end of January, which is I generated personalized guided meditation session using AI. If any of you do meditation sessions, if you go and type on YouTube, guided meditation using guided meditation 10-minute session, etc., they ask, there are several videos about reducing stress, etc. So there's a soft voice that speaks some text about reducing stress, and then you listen to that for 10 minutes, and it has some visuals, some background music, etc. Right now, everything is done with humans. There's a human speaking, then they make some visuals and also add music. So I've used all these 4 tools, ChatGPT to generate text, which is personalized guided meditation. Because if you go to any guided meditation sessions, it never addresses by your name and it doesn't know exactly about your situation, etc. Right? So I told that I'm a product builder in AI. My name is Ramsri, and using ChatGPT, I generated text that is personalized to my situation. Then I used 11labs.io to generate soft voice. And all these images that you see here are generated using Dream Studio. Then I added subtitles using supertranslator.ai. So at the end of the day, I created a video that you can perhaps start a YouTube channel and start generating these guided meditation videos and post them. Or you can even build a SaaS where someone can come in and enter their name, their current situation, what they do, like software engineering or something else, product management, and the meditation script is generated on the fly in few seconds, and they can do a session, guided meditation session using that. So that's one idea. Then the second is I told about world's most accurate speech to text model, OpenAI's Whisper. So you can do one more thing, which is, for example, let's say you have any YouTube video, you can get the transcript from it that is basically the spoken text. Then you can combine it with OpenAI's GPT-3 to do several things. One is you can do text to summary. So you can, in academia, you can perhaps summarize a 1 hour long video into 1 or 2 paragraphs so that anyone can consume. Or you can convert the text to blog post, so that, for example, what I do is sometimes I just create videos. I want to convert the same video and post it as a blog post on Medium, but I don't have the time. Now I can use something like this, where I can give the YouTube URL. Automatically, the transcript is extracted. Then you can convert the transcript into a blog post with bullet points and subheadings, etc., using GPT-3. That's one. And again, you can use the same transcript to, build text to quiz. So you can take the text, for example, if someone is running an education channel and they are teaching about thermodynamics or photosynthesis, they can just give the YouTube URL, you get the transcript, and you automatically create these quizzes, multiple choice questions, true or false, automatically from that. So you can kind of build, combine and build with generative AI several products in several verticals. I'm just showing you an example here, where you can take a YouTube video and summarize it or convert it into a blog post or make a quiz out of it. And each one can go into different vertical domain where you can launch a SaaS or something like that. And the other thing is, again, book illustration generator. Now, if you can, this is from DALL-E that you can see, where you can just put in a sentence like this, an illustration of children playing on the beach, and it will generate some illustrations like this automatically in one click. So, for example, if there is a children's book already, or you have written some article on it, automatically you can use GPT-3 to generate a one-line summary. That one-line summary could be this: an illustration of children playing on the beach. And automatically, using DALL-E or Stable Diffusion or Mid-Journey, you can generate images like this. So you can illustrate children's book or even any other regular books. And you can even create, let's say, a SaaS out of this, where anyone can where anyone can put their short stories or books and get relevant illustrations or cover images for that, etc. And another example is actually starting an AI YouTube channel. When I mean AI YouTube channel, not teaching AI, but rather you have a faceless YouTube channel. You don't show your face. Everything from script to voice to visuals to synthetic avatars, if you want, everything is generated with AI. You have a final video, and you can, build a channel, YouTube channel focused on something completely using AI tools as of today. You don't even need to have a recording mic or a video. So a few niche ideas. I have a 2-year-old, so he always listens to Cocomelon rhymes. And I always thought Cocomelon and similar rhymes do not exist for Indian context at all. But, creating that from scratch is too much work. But using tools like ChatGPT, etc., you can create some fun children's stories in any language: Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Spanish, etc. Then you can use these text-to-speech models that I talked about. And again, I talked about creating these illustrations using this, right? So you can kind of create some illustrations and put together a rhyme, children's story rhyme, etc., and start a channel. And again, similarly, nowadays algorithms have become very sophisticated, that if you give multiple paragraphs, it can summarize well and give a gist. So, for example, I have seen several regional YouTube channels that explain, for example, let's say Bermuda Triangle mystery, or some war in native languages, example Hindi, Telugu, Tamil, Spanish, etc. So again, you can use GPT-3 to summarize from 4 or 5 sources, then translate that into, let's say, 2 or 3 paragraphs. Now you can put together a YouTube video with narration, nice narration in other languages as well. So, and one more thing that people are not aware of that you can do with generative AI, actually, I can clone my own voice. So you can use Murph.ai, Synthesia event to create my own avatar, my own voice. Now, what can happen is that I can start my YouTube channel. Even I don't need to record my, I have like a 15-minute video that Synthesia took of me and created my avatar. So whatever script I give, my avatar speaks that, and my voice is also cloned. So my avatar speaks my voice itself. So I can launch a YouTube channel without even using any camera or recording speaker, nothing like that. I can go ahead and build that. So I'm just showing you possibilities of what will come up in the future. Fully automated AI YouTube channels where no human speaks or shows up. Everything is by AI or AI avatars. Great. So before moving further into GPT-3, I wanted to take a quick pause and take any questions that you might have at this point of time. If you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand or unmute yourself and ask.
Yeah, you can put it in the chat also, and I can pick it. Yeah, Pranesh, go
Please
for
go
it.
ahead.
Yeah. So with this AI illustration, right? Say we have a book, and say the book is 20 pages, and it has a children's story. So assuming there are a couple of characters, so I mean, like every time I write a prompt, will the AI be able to generate the same set of characters and the storyline, or how do we train it?
Amazing question. So first of all, in tech image generation, there are two aspects. One is you give some text and an image is generated. But there is one problem here. If you are generating a children's story, then you need to have consistency across characters. You need define a character, and that character should go through every all the images.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would say it is not fully solved, but there are a few things, which is, again, there are image to image translations. For example, if you give one image, you can generate similar images, or you can make minor modifications to that image by changing the background setup or adding one more person, etc. That's also something that you can do with AI. So short answer is, what you're trying to do is not fully solved, but it can be somewhat hacked. And very good point. So we need to maintain consistency of characters and their central points theme across all the illustrations, which is not fully solved, but some hacks can be done.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, Parijat.
Yeah. Hey, Ram. So I had a question regarding the example that you showed where you created a meditation app for your personality type, like for AI, for someone who builds AI products. So how do you give that as an input? What sort of behavior a particular personality would exhibit, or like are there some libraries to do that?
Got it. Good question. So first of all, I think it will be very clear when I show the prompt or something like that to you. Let me just open OpenAI. Since ChatGPT has restrictions and it might not be available all the time, I'm just going to the original GPT-3. But basically, you go to the GPT-3 and you give something like, my name is Ramsri. I am a software engineer. Generate a guided meditation script to reduce work stress. That's about it. I'm creating this on the fly. I've not tried on this, but let's click submit. as you can see, what it is generating is kind of, not taken from the internet directly. It is generating on its own. Now, what you can do is you can convert this into code. So any developer can convert this into code in any of the languages. And what happens is that you would just keep these as variables. Whatever name you insert and what your profession is, let's say this is variable 2. And to reduce work stress, it could be even relationship stress or some other thing, right? So whatever parameters are, you can convert them into variables. And whenever a developer integrates this, he or she can pass in these variables. Name is this, variable is, and their profession is this, and what they want to generate about is this. And the output that you get here, again, this can be integrated with any other API, which can take in, for example, let's even let me show you just on a high level. So you can use any text to speech engine. So you just integrate these sequentially. For example, let me just give, I'm just generating something just so that we can.
Dear Ramsray, take a deep breath and allow yourself to relax into this moment.
Yeah, I think it's, you can hear it, right?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So basically you combine all these things, and you can use programmatic tools, or sometimes even non-programmatic tools, something like Zapier, etc. You can do automation and do all these things sequentially, and you have the final file with you. Yeah.
So Ram, this is Fadi. I have a question for you.
Sure.
So I've used Synthesia and similar tools like the ones you've shown. And what I found is that whether it's text, speech, or images, the intonation, emotion, images, the way that things are generated, it feels very artificial, void, and empty of human character. Even the actual, like just the person that you did the text to speech right now,
Right.
They're talking with such a monotonic voice, even though it sounds human, but it's as if it's an antisocial human, right? An antisocial human being. So, and I've tried to solve for this, with a variety of tools out there, but I've not been able to find a single set of tool to actually create, content that actually is how should I say, has emotional engagement more than just a very, very neutral tone, whether it's images or, by the way, speech or text. How have you solved this problem? Have you seen a solution for this?
So what you mentioned is definitely a problem, and since AI is evolving, we don't have everything figured out already. And few things are that there are specialized companies that are doing a certain task well, in the sense that now perhaps ChatGPT is the best one that is available there, ChatGPT or GPT-3 variants. Then with prompts, you can get to text that is close to human level. Now, when it comes to speech, for example, this one sounds robotic, and of course, a lot of them do sound robotic, but I would definitely say in L1 labs, there are some emotional speech synthesis ones, that can get that intonation, etc. Right? About as far as we can get, in the sense that I'm not saying it's solved, but L1 labs is the closest that you can get to human level as of today. What I mean by that is, now you have Synthesia to generate script and that video, but the voice of Synthesia is not on par with 11 labs. So perhaps you need to take this voice, combine with that, and experiment like that. But short answer is definitely it falls short in what a complete human level achievement could be. But we just find the best pieces for each and try to combine. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, again, maybe you can, let's just focus on text. I'll refactor my question.
Sure.
ChatGPT generates, good text, right? It's a good starting point.
Yeah.
But it sounds like, and I want to paraphrase this, a B+ school essay submission, right? Which is something I read yesterday or the day before, I can't remember now. So, have you figured out how to create like some content generated from ChatGPT or, text or something that actually sounds like it's not just very formal? Because it's almost so formal or near formal that it's just boring.
Okay, got it. So, I mean, at least so far what I've done is whatever ChatGPT generates, you can give to another paraphrasing tool, Quillbot, and it has like several things ranging from standard to, creative, several tones that you want. So I put the ChatGPT generated text here and paraphrase it. And also you can control a lot of parameters in here. And there are a few things. One is Quillbot is built before the ChatGPT era. So they have collected quite a lot of training data as humans would rephrase, etc. So I would say it's kind of closer. And there are these ChatGPT or robotic text detectors that came up even. And once you get the ChatGPT output and pass through Quillbot and get the paraphrased output, on that scale itself, it hits human level accuracies in the sense that it goes undetected by those robotic text detectors as well. Yeah, at least this is what I've tried so far.
Thank you, Ram. Appreciate your response.
So, hi Ram, this presentation is great. And I got a question about like picking the tool. Like, how do you pick the tool? Is it by price and use case, or do you pick by what one does well? And is there like a table that someone's made that talks about which ones do what well? Like, is Cohere can be funnier than OpenAI, or this one's better for academics? Like, how do you choose?
Good point. So I'll give you my unfiltered view based on building production apps. I do not have association with any of them or credits with any of them. So I'm just speaking what I have found. Short answer is nothing beats GPT-3. I've trained, fine-tuned, did all the things with other available models, Cohere, A121 Labs, and tried to give prompts, etc. Nothing beats GPT-3 in terms of the speed of generation as well as the quality of generation. So if you are doing anything to text generation, do not look beyond GPT-3. Then speech to text, nothing beats OpenAI's Whisper. Just start there. And if you can go with the largest model, that's perfect. And when it comes to generating images, the best one out there is Midjourney, but they do not have an API. So you cannot build apps on top of that. So you can use Stable Diffusion or DALL-E. And when it comes to text to speech, L1labs.io is the best. And when it comes to vector embeddings, again, OpenAI's vector embeddings are good enough. When I mean good enough, there are several issues with models, in the sense that even if an open source model is available, it's not easy for a small and medium business or one individual person to host them scalably and take care of the MLOps, that is DevOps, hosting the model and scaling the model. So rather, even if it's a slight trade-off for accuracy, go with pay-per-use models. That is, GPT-3 is pay-per-use. You use $10 this month, you pay for that. If you don't use anything, you pay $0. Similarly, vector search, that is embeddings with GPT-3 or OpenAI, that's also pay-per-use. You can host your open source model and build that infra, but it's expensive. So my short answer is start with GPT-3 for everything text generation, and stable diffusion or DALL-E for image generation, and L1 Labs for text to speech, and for speech to text Whisper. That's about it.
Great answer. Thank you very much.
Sure, absolutely. Cool. Any other questions before we move forward?
I have a question, Ramsri. So this is Saurabh here.
Hi, sir. Please go ahead.
Question is, hi. My question is, you've spoken about generative AI, right? Like in which you give a prompt and you get like a body of text. What does it look like for the reverse? Like in which, like, say, for example, I have a lot of data, maybe say an email from like, Amazon that sends me an email. And I want to basically parse out like specific information out, like, which product, how much it costs, etc., etc. So I've tried a little bit with GPT-3 and all. It works decently if you ask the right questions. But like, is there something else which we could use, or does it require like me to like sort of build my own model and train it? Like if there's any third-party tool which I can use.
Short answer, no open source models get close to what you're trying to do. You can use GPT or Chat GPT, where you can ask from the above context, create 3 columns, one for product, its description, and whatever. If you're trying to extract named entities, the named entity type, and named entity, the phrase, and other things. So GPT-3 is about Chat GPT, or GPT-3 is about as good as you get. And you cannot fine tune any other model and get better accuracy. I don't think so. And nothing is up there yet. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. That makes sense. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. Anyone else? Please go ahead.
Yeah, I think Abu had a question in the chat. So he's asking that if he has a transcription of a video which is pretty huge and OpenAI has token limits, so what can he do in such a scenario?
Great question again. So definitely all these models have token limitation, or you can assume there is word limitation of how much context it can remember or use to process. So simple thing is splitting them into chunks. For example, if there is a 10,000 word document, what you can do is divide it into 1,000 words first, then every 1,000 words will be summarized into 100 words. Now your 10,000 word document will be summarized into 1,000 words. Now you can take the 1,000 word context and use it to do what you want. Or there is one more way, which is if you're trying to, let's say, build some question answering thing, etc., get that context on the fly. What I mean by that is, if someone asks, what is your refund policy? Instead of giving the full context of your company that has 10,000 words, you can do a quick vector search and get the top 2 or 3 paragraphs that mention about refund policy. Get that context on the fly, then ask your question. What is the refund policy? Then you'll get better answers. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Mandy has a question.
Oh yeah, quick question. So just to give as an example, I've seen a couple of like if you wanted to upload a body of work, for example, I've seen someone created punchline.ai, and it's for you enter like a joke setup, and then it delivers a punchline, and it's not very good, but they clearly uploaded a body of training, data that was probably huge, like a bunch of jokes. Like, so if you were creating something that you were trying to train on extensive material to create an app, what's the best way to what's the best tool to upload like a big data set if you're creating an app where, or like say you were doing a Quentin Tarantino or a Seinfeld generator or something like that, and you were uploading, a big training set. What's the best way to build something like that? If you know. Thank you.
Sure.
And thanks for all this.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for asking. So Great question again. So first of all, there are two ways to approach this. For example, I brought up a joke creator that I did, and this is all the prompt that is, which is you can replace Bootstrapper with anything here. And let's say I click on submit. So it will generate all these jokes on the fly. So simply put, the thing is either you can give something like this, which is called as few shot prompting. What that means is that you show it a few examples of how the joke should be and how the format should be, and it will go ahead and generate jokes. So in this case, instead of this bootstrapper right here, I can change this to a variable, and anyone can input just like previously. They can talk about doctor jokes or product management joke or anything like that, and AI will go ahead and generate. Now the second thing is, as you mentioned, Quentin Tarantino jokes, etc. For example, if you have anywhere between 200 samples and above, let's say 200 or 300 samples, what you can do is you can do something called as fine tuning. Simply put, you can take the same model GPT-3 and you can create, let's say, an Excel file with input on the left column and output on the left column, and you create, let's say, 500 pairs of those jokes, what the input should be and what the output should be. And you can fine tune this GPT-3 model using those jokes. So instead of just showing it, let's say 7 or 8 examples, which is called as few shot prompting. And since there is only so much context that can fit in here, you can actually go ahead and fine tune, which can take in any amount of context, let's say even 10,000 examples that you have. And that is actually better in the sense that you will get the highest quality that's possible. So short answer is you can go ahead, collect your data in a CSV column format and fine tune GPT-3. I hope that answers your question.
Cool. Let us know, Mandy, if it doesn't. And Toby, I think, has a question.
Sure.
Hey, hi,
Please go
Toby.
Hi, Ram. Basically, I think my question is similar to Mandy's, but I want to, instead of text, I want to talk about images. So, for instance, like as a parent, sometimes I see like some things on my kid's skin, like a skin rash or something, and I was just thinking like it would be good to be able to take a picture and upload it to an AI thing or whatever, and it can tell me what it is that's on the skin rather than, having to Google all day, what's this, what's that. So is there a way that you can train up like an AI model on all this sort of images, and how easy is that? Do I need to learn coding for that? Or yeah, what's the way you can do that? Or is there like already companies out there that already have like white labeling, AI modeling and all that kind of stuff?
Right. Great question. So first of all, it falls in the genre of classification AI, and you can give some images and do classification in simple sense. For example, if you have 10 cat images and 10 dog images, and you can train something called as a classifier, and next time you randomly show some image, it can get the output between the classes that you trained on, which is a dog or cat. And in your case that you mentioned, perhaps you need to train on all the possible skin diseases, etc. For example, let's say there are 100 types medically, then you need to show sample images and then train a classifier. So there are two ways. One is programmatically, machine learning engineers or deep learning engineers can train these classifiers once you collected enough data. And the second thing is actually trying to do with no code, which is whatever these machine learning engineers do. Companies, for example, Lobe.ai, machine learning made easy. You can do the same thing without code, where you can upload images and say that, okay, these 10 are plant, let's say even plant diseases, right? You can train an app to identify plant diseases or human diseases or anything like that without code. And there are several companies like this, like Lobe, which can do AI training, etc., without code. You just upload the data and click on some button. They'll train the classifier or model for you. Yeah. Hope that
That
answers.
sound that sounds great. Thank you so much. That's great. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Go ahead,
Yep.
Tushar.
Hey Ram, again, very knowledge-based question. So if I have a text or I have set of images, variable, I have named characters, can I create automated animations out of those?
Got it. Okay. So the short answer is the closest one that you can think of is called as DID. Basically, from an image, you can animate an image and do certain things. Technically, from algorithm perspective, it is called as text to video generation or image to video generation. And Google and they have released few models, but it's not up to the mark. And production grade, if you want to try it out, check did.com. Perhaps this is the closest you can get to where you can input an image and let it animate or talk certain things. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's still nascent and not really like production grade, non-human distinguishable. But the closest one that you can try as of today is DID. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay.
Any other questions?
As of right now, don't see anything, but we are already at 7:55, 7:56 p.m. India time. And Ramsey, do you want to like finish the deck, or how do you want to approach this now?
Sure. I think we can kind of, wrap up in 2-3 minutes. And if we have any other questions, like I can stay for some more time, or if you are hard on time, we can close it as well.
Sure. Yeah, let's do that. I think we can definitely do 5 more minutes, and then if there are questions, we can take a couple and then close it out.
Perfect. Perfect. So first of all, if you want to go and find all the, find inspirations of what can be built with GPT-3 or GPT-3 like technologies, it could be, text to image, image generation, mid-journey, stable diffusion as well. Go ahead and look at these websites. AIdemos.com is run by my good friend Pradeep. Basically, there are video demos where you can see how the app is functional with a video demo that they have created. That's one. Futurepedia is another, futurepedia.io is another popular one, which has quite a lot of these generative AI apps listed. Another thing is GPT3demo.com. A lot of production apps that are built on GPT-3 like technologies are listed there. And if you are trying to build AI SaaS, what my best suggestion is, try and pick a core. That core will be, that core can be a technology that you're familiar with or have good strength in, or it could even be a vertical that you understand well, a domain or vertical. For example, if you're coming with a tech background, try to blend AI with that background. If you're coming from marketing background, try to blend AI with your marketing background. So basically pick a core that you have experience and passion in and work on abstractions for everything else. When I mean abstractions, for example, I created question.ai to create quizzes from any text, quizzes, high school quizzes like multiple choice questions, true or false, fill in the blanks, etc. Now, I am not a full stack developer by profession, so I worked on abstractions, that is using no code tools. I used bubble.io and created a fully functional UI UX and front end and back end that works, where anyone can sign up, pay using Stripe and do the task. So explore all these no code tools if you want to build something fast. Each one has their pros and cons. Secondly, leverage heavily on serverless, that is only pay-per-use compute. So pay-per-use generative AI models like GPT-3, pay-per-use semantic search, that is vector embeddings using GPT-3, OpenAI's vector embeddings. Then if you want to host your own models using serverless GPUs to host them. And why is it the right time to build AI SaaS today? I can tell you from my bootstrapper experience where I've built 3 AI SaaS apps without any outsourcing work. It's because of the timing being right, because of large language models that are available as pay-per-use, vector search that is available as pay-per-use, and serverless GPUs which do a certain task and shut down. So I only pay, let's say, a few cents for the task that I did. And we have come to the end of the session, and we are right on time. And yeah, happy to take any questions and answer any queries you may have.
Yeah, before we get to the questions, thank you so much, Ram. I think, one of the coolest, calmest session, but extremely high. The amount of experience and the knowledge that you have, it shows with how calmly you deliver it, right? I think a lot of times I've observed people who will deliver it in a very nervous manner because they are not really sure about whether they are deep into it. But I loved how, and this is the beauty, right? And I'm so glad that we could chat with you because of the amount of work you have done. And especially from a builder's point of view, talking to somebody who's an operator and building things building things on top of it makes so much more sense than just talking to somebody who's a theorist, right? So thank you so much for doing that. And I think the builders, one of the things that I've done is I have shared the Twitter link of Ramshri on chat. If you like what he has, done and what the information and the, knowledge that he has shared, if this was useful, feel free to, call him out, give a shout out, etc. Because, that really helps. If you genuinely feel so. So yeah, I just wanted to ensure that I do this before we get to last few questions. Yes, anybody, any questions?
Hi, I just have a quick one, Ramsey. Your 3 AI SaaS that you built, did you do them with no code or code?
Good question. So one of them is completely done without any code. So no code tools, question.ai. Because I'm a solo founder on that, everything is done by me. For the other AI SaaS apps, I have founders who code, so they are built on coding technologies. Yeah, JavaScript, etc.
Great. Okay, thank you. So the question.ai is the one without the code.
Exactly. Yes.
Great.
Yeah. So this one is completely built without code. Everything that you see, this is called as landing page, and the exact app is when you go inside. Start for free. Yeah. Please go ahead. Ask any questions.
Yeah, I think Jinto, you were asking.
Yeah, thanks. It was a really good session, Ram. Thank you. And one question, how do you, I mean, when we are using a lot of these tools, so the price will keep accumulating, right? The charges, like, I mean, how do we reduce the cost? I mean, what are things you do normally to reduce the cost?
Great question. So one thing is that finding complementary co-founders helps, in the sense that, for example, if you take supermeme.ai or supertranslate.ai or app, in supermeme, I'm the AI developer. There is a full stack developer, and then there is a memer or product manager who takes care of business. So among 3 of us, we can build everything that we want. I can think about AI algorithms and bring them up. Then the full stack developer can think about user interfaces and build it. The marketer and product manager co-founder can market it. So one is align and put together teams such that those are taken care of. Secondly, like I mentioned, operate heavily on serverless platforms. So our deployment, AI model development, and like I mentioned, we use GPT-3, pay-per-use, everything is such that probably at $60, we are up and running. Less than a month, all the tools combined, we are at $60. And everything above that is just pay-per-use. If there are users, we get money, we pay more. Otherwise, we are just already profitable at even $100 a month. Yeah.
So would you say that the question.ai, the no code one, costs you more than the one where you have to code?
Not necessarily, because what you see here, question.ai, this could be built and brought up at $29 a month using no-code tool called as bubble.io. So everything that you see here on the screen is built with bubble.io. Yeah. So those are the operating costs. Of course, there are some email marketing or other minor things that you need to pay, but $40-50 is what I pay. And I mean, you can build better user interfaces if you have coding founders, and you can iterate faster. That's one advantage. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, Mandy.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say that well, first I was gonna ask how you built it, but you just answered it with Bubble. And then I was gonna ask what is the landing page generator that you use for your site? Like, and I was also gonna say, if you haven't, you know, you probably have, but I mean, boy, I bet if you put like a little bit of budget, I mean, there's so many people I can think of who need that quiz. Like that's such a huge audience of educators, and so many people are creating courses now that they sell. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've done targeted like Facebook advertising, like or funnels or whatever to sell that, but I bet you could increase the MRR to like just, you know, skyrocket it, because I think there's a huge audience for that. So
great points. So I'll answer sequentially.
okay,
so,
thank you, and thank you so much.
Absolutely. So for the landing page, I'm using TypeDream. So I think it's one of the best ones out there, where you can also optimize for SEO, search engine optimization as well. So TypeDream is what I'm using for the landing page. And for the actual app, I'm using Bubble. So you can build user interfaces without code. And coming to the last point that you mentioned, yes, thanks a lot for that. And to be very honest, I am not doing a great job at putting too many efforts into marketing for a few reasons. One is that I didn't want to get into paid marketing, and want to see how far I can go organically with SEO, search engine optimization, etc. And secondly, with sometimes dividing time between all the apps means I need to take some trade-offs. So that's why I haven't been exploring even affiliate channels, etc. So paid marketing affiliate channels is something that I want to get into at some point of time. But definitely I'm falling short on that to agree.
Well, the reason I say it is because like I study the space of how people become big, you know, figures. And a lot of the most famous people now, it's because they literally just take any money they earn and they put it back into Facebook ads with conversion selected. A lot of the people who we know as household names now, they're spending millions on Facebook ads. So you might consider, and I don't know how to do it, I'm still learning, but if you found someone who knows a little bit about Facebook marketing and just tested out $50 to see what return you got, I think you could really like skyrocket some of those offerings, because a lot of people need that quiz generator, and that's the first time I've seen it. So
Got it. Thanks a lot. Definitely. Definitely.
Cool. I think we are desperately up on time. If there's one last one we can take, otherwise we are good to close. Any last one? No?
I'll take
Cool.
it. If it's always good to have great people like Ram. So, but thank you so much for the session, Ram. It was amazing. I just want to ask, do you have any suggestions, any tool that would help me create a chatbot kind of API, which would obviously be limited to some content in a specific industry? Let's say I work in travel industry, so travel industry, let's say.
Okay. I mean, I don't have a SaaS. My goal has been not to start another SaaS and scale these the current ones. But short answer is that now with ChatGPT, there are a lot of startups that came out where you can even give your website URL and they create a custom chatbot on top of that. So in the recent times, there are a lot of libraries like LangChain that came up even, which are facilitating this. And there are a lot of startups. If I've seen a few on Twitter, at least, which are creating custom chatbots on top of websites or custom data that you have. And OpenAI also has an official tutorial. OpenAI tutorial to create like a chat interface on top of your custom data, parse data. Yeah. So this website Q&A with embeddings, this tutorial right here helps you build some kind of chatbot on top of your content.
Okay, this sounds good, but I was actually looking for something because ChatGPT does not have internet, right? So I was looking for something which would go on the internet for me and do the scraping and then come back with data.
Yeah, they are already there. I don't remember at the top of my mind. If you can ping me on Twitter, I'll just search them and let you know. Yeah,
that would be great. Thank you.
Sure.
Yes, and with that, thank you so much once again, Ram, for doing this. Trust me when I say this, like I was attentive for the entire, like last 70 minutes that we did this. This is brilliant, and like the builders, please do at least, like if you guys are not tweeting, at least express thanks on the chat so that he can see that this was, if you found this valuable, let's give a quick shout out, at least on the chat to Ram by writing a quick thank you note. It can just be a thanks. Yeah, and I have already shared his Twitter. Nobody's writing. What happened? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I have already shared his Twitter. If there is any questions that you have, I'm guessing Ram would be open to receiving them on DM. So feel free to reach out. We will do our part to ensure that Ram is able to join the community and he can interact so much more with all of the builders who are there. And as Mandy was saying, maybe we can help him like get to 10,000 users through the collective effort of all of the builders.
Thank you. Thank you. Awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you
It's
so
my
much.
pleasure to be here and present to the audience. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, guys. I'll see you in the community.